Welcome to the Fire Protection and Prevention Training for Field Technicians and Sales. Course Overview. The purpose of the course is to provide a general understanding of the TKE Fire Protection and Prevention Program, the requirements and the processes involved with the implementation of this program. In this training we will cover the following topics. Review Fire Protection and Prevention Policy. Understand the flammable, explosive, range limits. Examine fire protection general requirements. Identify what constitutes fire prevention, ignition hazards. Analyze indoor storage of flammable and combustible liquids. Demonstrate fire control for flammable or combustible liquid storage. Introduction. This section applies to the handling, storage, and use of flammable and combustible liquids and materials. TKE shall develop a fire protection program to be followed throughout all branches and job sites. The branch manager shall ensure that fire protection equipment is available in all office and warehouse facilities, company vehicles, and all gang boxes. TKE shall provide the following fire extinguishers. 5 pounds fire extinguisher for all company vehicles. At least 1 20-pounds fire extinguisher per new installation, modernization, repair crew. Extinguisher must be easily accessible. Flammable, explosive, range limits when vapors are mixed with air in the proper proportions, and are ignited, rapid combustion or an explosion can occur. This proportion is called the flammable range and often referred to as the explosive range. There is a minimum and maximum concentration of vapor or gas in air where flame does not occur on contact with a source of ignition. These boundary line mixtures of vapor with air are known as the lower and upper flammable or explosive limits, LEL or UL. Fire protection, general requirements. The manager/superintendent and/or job foreman shall be responsible for the development of a fire protection program to be followed throughout all phases of work, and shall provide for the firefighting equipment, as specified in this section. As fire hazards occur, there shall be no delay in providing the necessary equipment. Access to all available firefighting equipment shall be maintained at all times. All firefighting equipment, provided by ThyssenKrupp and the client, shall be conspicuously located. All firefighting equipment shall be visually inspected monthly and certified annually. Defective equipment shall be immediately replaced. Machine rooms shall have an approved fire extinguisher. Building/facility is responsible to provide and maintain monthly fire extinguisher check. Nothing blocking access to extinguisher. Pressure gauge shows full charged. Hose/nozzle is free of cracks, tears or obstructions. Pin and tamper seal are intact. Handle/level is undamaged. No dents, leaks, rust, chemical deposits and/or other signs of abuse or wear. Dry powder chemical is moving freely inside cylinder. Inspection tag is attached and updated. Portable firefighting equipment. Fire extinguishers and small hose lines. A fire extinguisher, rated not less than 2A, shall be provided for each 3,000 square feet of the protected building area or major fraction thereof. Travel distance from any point of the protected area to the nearest fire extinguisher shall not exceed 75 feet. One or more fire extinguishers, rated not less than 2A, shall be provided on each floor. In multi-story buildings, at least one fire extinguisher shall be located adjacent to stairway. Extinguishers and water drums, subject to freezing, shall be protected from freezing. A fire extinguisher, rated not less than 10B, shall be provided within 50 feet of wherever more than 5 gallons of flammable or combustible liquids, or 5 pounds of flammable gas, are being used on the job site. This requirement does not apply to integral fuel tanks of motor vehicles. Portable firefighting equipment, continued. The branch manager or on-site supervisor shall assure that portable fire extinguishers are maintained in a fully charged and operable condition, and kept in their designated places at all times, except during use. The branch manager or designee shall assure that portable fire extinguishers are subjected to an annual maintenance check. Stored pressure extinguishers do not require an internal examination. The responsible manager shall record the annual maintenance date and retain this record for 1 year after the last entry or the life of the shell, whichever is less. Remember: pass, pull, aim, squeeze, sweep. Fire protection and prevention Class A, used for cloth, wood, rubber, paper and plastics. Class B, used for gasoline, grease and oil. Class C, used for electrical and fires. Class D, used for combustible and metals. Class K, used for kitchen fires, fire prevention, ignition hazards. Electrical wiring and equipment for light, heat, or power purposes shall be installed in compliance with the requirements of the electrical section of this manual. Internal combustion engine powered equipment shall be located so that the exhausts are well away from combustible materials. When the exhausts are piped to outside the building under construction, a clearance of at least 6 inches shall be maintained between such piping and combustible material. Smoking shall be prohibited at, or in the vicinity of, operations which constitute a fire hazard, and shall be conspicuously posted, "No smoking or open flame." Portable battery-powered lighting equipment, used in connection with the storage, handling, or use of flammable gases or liquids, shall be of the type approved for the hazardous locations. Open yard storage. Combustible materials shall be piled with due regard to the stability of piles, and in no case higher than 20 feet. Driveways between and around combustible storage piles shall be at least 15 feet wide and maintained free from accumulation of rubbish, equipment, or other articles or materials. Driveways shall be so spaced that a maximum grid system unit of 50 feet by 150 feet is produced. The entire storage site shall be kept free from accumulation of unnecessary combustible materials. Weeds and grass shall be kept down in a regular procedure provided for the periodic cleanup of the entire area. When there is a danger of an underground fire, that land shall not be used for combustible or flammable storage. Open yard storage, continued. Method of piling shall be solid, wherever possible, and in orderly and regular piles. No combustible materials shall be stored outdoors within 10 feet of a building or structure. Portable fire extinguishing equipment suitable for the fire hazard involved shall be provided at convenient, conspicuously accessible locations in the yard area. Portable fire extinguishers, rated not less than 2A, shall be placed so that maximum travel distance to the nearest unit shall not exceed 100 feet. Indoor storage. Storage shall not obstruct or adversely affect means of exit. All materials shall be stored, handled, and piled with due regard to their fire characteristics. Non-compatible materials, which may create a fire hazard, shall be segregated by a barrier, having a fire resistance of at least 1 hour. Materials shall be piled to minimize the spread of fire internally and to permit convenient access for firefighting. Stable piling shall be maintained at all times. Aisle space shall be maintained to safely accommodate the widest vehicle that may be used within the building for firefighting purposes. Remember to follow 6S guidance. Indoor storage, continued. Clearance of at least 36 inches shall be maintained between the top level of the stored material and the sprinkler deflectors. Clearance shall be maintained around lights and heating units to prevent ignition of combustible materials. A clearance of 24 inches shall be maintained around the path of travel of fire doors, unless a barricade is provided, in which case no clearance is needed. Material shall not be stored within 36 inches of a fire door opening. Gas cylinders and flammable materials cannot be stored in non-ventilated areas, such as cargo shipping containers. General requirements. Only approved containers and portable tanks shall be used for storage and handling of flammable and combustible liquids. Approved metal safety cans shall be used for the handling and use of flammable liquids in quantities greater than 1 gallon. For quantities of 1 gallon or less, only the original container or approved metal safety cans shall be used for storage, use, and handling of flammable liquids. Flammable or combustible liquids shall not be stored in areas used for exits, stairways, or normally used for the safe passage of people. Storage outside buildings. Storage of containers, not more than 60 gallons each, shall not exceed 1,100 gallons in any one pile or area. Piles or groups of containers shall be separated by a 5-foot clearance. Piles or groups of containers shall not be any nearer than 20 feet to a building. Within 200 feet of each pile of containers, there shall be a 12 feet wide access way to permit approach of fire control apparatus. The storage area shall be graded in a manner to divert possible spills away from buildings or other exposures, or shall be surrounded by a curb or earth dike at least 12 inches high. Storage outside buildings, continued. When curbs or dikes are used, provisions shall be made for draining off accumulations of ground or rainwater, or spills of flammable or combustible liquids. Drains shall terminate at a safe location and shall be accessible to operation under fire conditions. Fire control for flammable or combustible liquid storage. At least one portable fire extinguisher having a rating of not less than 20 B units shall be located outside of, but not more than 10 feet from, the door opening into any room used for storage of more than 60 gallons of flammable or combustible liquids. At least one portable fire extinguisher having a rating of not less than 20 B units shall be located not less than 25 feet nor more than 75 feet from any flammable liquid storage area located outside. When sprinklers are provided, they shall be installed in accordance with the standard for the installation of sprinkler systems and local fire codes. Dispensing liquids. Areas in which flammable or combustible liquids are transferred at one time, in quantities greater than 5 gallons, from one tank or container to another tank or container, shall be separated from other operations by 25 feet or by construction having a fire resistance of at least 1 hour. Drainage or other means shall be provided to control spills. Adequate natural or mechanical ventilation shall be provided to maintain the concentration of flammable vapor at or below 10% of the lower flammable limit. Transfer of flammable liquids from one container to another shall be done only when containers are electrically interconnected, bonded. Flammable or combustible liquids shall be drawn from or transferred into vessels, containers, or tanks within a building or outside only through a closed piping system from safety cans, by means of a device drawing through the top, or from a container, or portable tanks, by gravity or pump, through an approved self-closing valve. Transferring by means of air pressure on the container or portable tanks is prohibited. Handling liquids at point of final use. Flammable liquids shall be kept in closed containers when not actually in use. Leakage or spillage of flammable or combustible liquids shall be disposed of promptly and safely. Flammable liquids may be used only where there are no open flames or other sources of ignition within 50 feet of the operation, unless conditions warrant greater clearance. Thank you for completing the fire protection and prevention training.